I was feeling anxious right here in this video. I had a long day at work and I was exhausted. I attempted to remove my own gel nail the night before, which I failed terribly. I do not recommend, don't do this at home. But basically I damaged my nails and I wasn't able to remove all the nail polish. So I had polish halfway through my nails and I was sitting on the couch feeling a little tired and anxious, and when I looked down my nails I felt even more anxious. I was like, I have an important in-person meeting tomorrow. There's no way I can show up with nails like this. The same day, I was also feeling a little guilty for not being able to post a video here on YouTube this week. So I really wanted to film something, but I was also feeling uninspired. I wanted to cook homemade meal, but I was also feeling bad for not working out. So I also wanted to work out. I looked to the side and I saw that I had to unpack my weekend getaway bag, and so started to think about how I also have to pack for my upcoming trip this weekend. I was just such an anxious mess and I wanted to film a video. I wanted to go to the nail salon to get my nail finally removed. I wanted to work out, but I also wanted to cook a meal. I wanted to do everything. But the stress and the anxiety was enabling me from actually making a decision. This is what anxiety feels like to me. I'm normally a calm person. I wouldn't even call that anxiety, but definitely sometimes, some days I'm feeling like more agitated. I can tell because on days where I'm just calm and at peace, I don't feel that way, and then some days I just like have so many thoughts racing through my head that it kind of makes it very difficult for me to make a decision or to just like be at peace. And especially at nighttime after I had a long day and I'm tired, I just want to relax, I just want to get ready for bed. I do not need to be going through that. So this video I'm going to be just talking a little bit about the things that have actually helped me feel better about days where I'm feeling a little stressed. I'm not someone that was diagnosed with anxiety. I don't have anxiety. I don't have any tightness on my chest or difficulty breathing, but some days I just really feel like the beginning of this video, and it's not normal. But also sometimes on those days when you really stop to think about your breath, you start to notice that your breathing is kind of off. I don't think that's normal. You know, some days you're just relaxed, like when you're sitting at a beach somewhere and you're just reading a book, or when you're going for a swim, you're just kind of at peace and your breathing is normal. That's usually how I like to feel. And the first thing that actually helps me when I'm feeling that way is just kind of acknowledging that you're feeling a little stressed or you're feeling a little anxious. And what I like to do is, like, sometimes I just like to take a pause to think about it without any judgment. I'm gonna be talking about, you know, the normal things everybody hear about when you have anxiety, like breath work or meditation or yoga. Just the fact of like actually pausing and recognizing that you're feeling a little stressed and anxious is like the first step for me to actually overcoming it. That day where I was feeling kind of anxious and I had all these thoughts going through my mind, I actually paused to really think about what I was feeling and why I was feeling and why I wanted to do everything on that day. And then I started to think like, okay, so what happened today, it's not gonna happen tomorrow, and how I'm feeling today, it's not gonna be the same way I'm feeling tomorrow, but why I'm feeling this way today, what can I do to not be feeling like that tomorrow? And for me, I was feeling like that day because I actually didn't really plan my day well. I was a little bit disorganized. So for the next day, I knew that I actually had to be a little bit more organized. Like I work during the day, and then after I'm done with work, I actually plan out the rest of my evening. And that could be like hanging out with friends, or going for a workout class, or making dinner. I usually plan out my evenings and, you know, of course, my days. So when I was feeling anxious yesterday, I couldn't make a decision about what to do, and I wanted to do all those things. When I stopped to actually think about how I was feeling and how can I do differently the next day, I came to the conclusion that, okay, what am I doing tomorrow? And what do I need to do today to prepare for tomorrow? So I knew I had this in-person meeting, and I had like horrible nails that evening because I tried to remove my gel nail at home and it didn't work out. I do not recommend. My nails are very damaged right now. But anyway, I kind of stopped and was like, okay, so my priority for this evening is to go remove my gel nail. And I know that sounds kind of silly and superficial, like whatever, nobody cares about your nails, but that was giving me anxiety at the time. I didn't want to repeat that the next day. So for that evening, I actually decided that my priority for that day was to go to the nail salon and remove my gel nail. So I actually did that, and then I came back home and I took a shower. Love taking showers. I usually take at least 2 showers a day, especially during the summertime. I like to take a shower before I go to bed. I was just feeling so much more calm. So something else that actually gives me a little bit of anxiety is what I eat and consume in the evenings. So I try to stop drinking coffee at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. is very late, I know, but I drink coffee since I was very young, and I'm used to drinking coffee. Usually doesn't affect me so much, but I do have a cutoff of 5 p.m. Some days I drink coffee at like 5:30, 6 p.m. and it just kind of keeps me awake for a few hours. And sleep is very important to me, so I always try to prioritize sleep. And that's also another tip for me. If you're feeling anxious and stressed, go to sleep. Make sure you're sleeping the amount that you need to sleep every day. I notice myself that on the days that I cannot get, you know, enough restful sleep, I definitely feel it the next day, especially if I'm doing over like a consecutive amount of days. Whenever I go out and have a late night past 2 a.m., I feel very anxious and stressed the next day. It's very fun and I enjoy it, but nothing good happens after 2 a.m. Sometimes good things happen after 2 a.m., but it's rare. It's very rare. Third thing that I actually started doing, and this is like a new thing. It's been maybe a month or so. I became obsessed with Huberman podcasts. He talks about everything related to the brain. He talks about dopamine, stress, exercise, diet, and the effect it has on the body and brain. He talks about alcohol. He talks about addiction. I'm sure you guys know who he is at this point, but I started to listen to his podcast, and I actually watched his podcast on alcohol. He can be a little bit radical about his way of talking about things that are not good for you in his podcast. But when I watched that podcast on alcohol, I was pretty shocked about how terrible alcohol is for our brain and body. I enjoy drinking like occasionally with friends on the weekends, but I also really enjoy a glass of wine, or maybe 2 glasses of wine after dinner or during my dinner. I actually stopped doing that maybe a month ago. And now I only really have occasional drinks with my friends when we're out on the weekends or when I'm on vacation. But I basically stopped drinking during the week. I feel so much better. I just feel like I'm getting better sleep, which is a plus by itself. Like, getting better sleep makes you a different person the next day. I also feel like I'm just more clear-minded the next day. I'm more focused. I started to realize that whenever I was drinking like a glass of wine or 2 glasses of wine with my dinner, I wasn't really feeling relaxed. I was kind of feeling a little anxious. I actually have friends that feel the same way whenever they drink, but I never really stopped to think that that could be the case for me. I just decided to stop doing that. I have to say I like what I've been seeing right now, and I like how I feel the next day. Another tip for me that has kind of helped me manage my stress and manage my anxiety levels. Another thing that has also helped me is talking to people and actually giving myself the chance to be vulnerable to people. I live alone and I keep things to myself a lot, but I started to really open up myself to my closest friends about how I was feeling, and I actually opened up to people at my work about how I was feeling. I have a therapist, of course. I always open up to her. But sometimes I also just call my mom. Only my thinking is like, my mom is not gonna understand how I'm feeling right now because, I live here in New York City. She doesn't get it. But just talking to someone about how you're feeling makes a whole new difference, and it actually makes me feel much more calm. And it's almost like I feel this relief, or it's kind of like journaling. Whenever you start writing about your thoughts, it's like your thoughts are crossing your mind and then going away. That's how I feel when I'm talking to someone. It's like I'm actually letting my thoughts go. And it's weird because sometimes anxiety or stress kind of feel like you have all these thoughts like going around your brain, and they like consume your brain and consume your thoughts and consume everything about you. But whenever you talk to someone about it, or whenever you journal about how you're feeling, letting the thoughts go through your brain, and your thoughts actually become a little bit more clear. And then on that topic of talking to someone, journaling has really helped me. And I know that's kind of like a cliche, but it actually does help. Sometimes the problem I have personally is I have difficulty kind of understanding my thoughts and how I'm feeling about something, or the progress that I've made about what I was feeling. Sometimes I just can't really, and the act of journaling, it really makes me pause and write down things. But not only that, for me personally, I actually have to write down on a piece of paper and with a pen. It's very different for me to like write down notes on my phone or write down notes on my computer. I actually have to sit down, open my book, and take a pen and write down on my journal. But something that really happened recently to me, which I really loved, was actually when I decided to look back my journal to like a year ago, to like over a year ago. I looked back to 3 weeks ago, to how I was feeling a month ago, to how I was feeling yesterday. And it's kind of mind-blowing, the progress that I've had about the things that I was writing about a year ago, or the things that were making me anxious about a year ago. The things that are making me anxious and stressed or happy or sad now are different. And that is kind of fascinating to me, and it actually brings me a lot of peace and joy just to understand that I'm actually evolving myself, and I'm actually going through different things in life. But it also brings me a lot of peace to know that everything in life comes and goes. Sad moments come and go. The stressful period of your life will come and then go. The happy moments of your life will come and then go. And that kind of actually brings me a lot of peace. And it actually helps me with my anxiety. So I hope this was helpful to you. I'll see you in my next vlog. Bye.